Hey, if you're curious to know how you can get out of poverty into abundance, then you found the right video. Hey, Daniel, cue in that intro, please. Hey, how's it going, friend? Juan Pablo here. Thank you so much for visiting this video and our channel, because on this channel, we typically like to discuss the 3 pillars to financial freedom. Personal finance. We talk about credit. We talk about budgeting. We talk about time management, personal development, all those things. We also like to focus on funding, have a repeatable source of investment capital. And last and certainly not least, real estate investing, with the emphasis on multi-units and multifamily properties. Now, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe so that way YouTube, Google, the algorithm can do its thing in regard to providing you additional videos to help you along your journey towards financial freedom. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic. Poverty. So I'm not sure if you grew up in a poverty-stricken home, you grew up around lack. It's definitely not fun. Now, I didn't grow up dirt poor, so to speak, and it's all relative, right? Just however you define poor, but definitely didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth, right? Or didn't have access to a lot of luxuries. I had humble beginnings. But in order to get out of that rut, one of the things I had to do was first and foremost, change my mindset. So that's a different video. I actually have a video below in the description that talks about the right mindset, personal development, all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more about the mindset, just check the link below in the description to learn more. But outside of just the mindset, it's your money management habits. That is key. So the reason why you grew up in poverty, your parents probably didn't have enough money to make ends meet, and their parents were probably the same way. It could be generational, who knows? But one of the key reasons why is because they might have a lack of money management skills. Of course, there may be other factors, right? I totally get that. There may be exceptions to the rule, but typically a person who is quote unquote poor manages their finances poorly. Okay, and this video is trying to share with you a few changes you can make in regards to your money management, so that way you can have abundance. All right, so let's dive into it. So the reason why I'm sitting down on my computer right now, and I want to do a screen share and draw an illustration. So please forgive me if it looks ugly, but you will catch my drift. Okay, so I'm going to draw something very quickly. Okay. And you might be guessing, well, what the heck is this, Juan? Well, it's a tree. Yay. Let's say it's a money tree. Woo. Okay, so you got the tree, you got the roots, right? Beautiful tree. Amazing tree. Like, why don't your roots connect, Juan? I don't know. I'm at the artiste. Why I thought we were so skinny, Juan? I don't know. All right, well, here we go. All right, so you got the tree. Okay, voila. You got the hole in the tree, like in the cartoon shows. And with this tree, let's say it symbolizes your money tree, right? And you want your money tree to continue to grow, to prosper, to thrive. So that way it continues to give you shade, continues to give you fruit from days, weeks, months, years, and generations to come. Because that's what we're all about, right? Generational wealth. It's not just having enough or having abundance just for yourself, but for your descendants. Okay, now with this money tree, it produces fruit. Okay, so let me draw some fruit here. Okay, so we got one fruit here. So we got 10 pieces of fruit on this tree. Okay, and let's say they're ripe, they're available to eat. You can eat these fruit and so forth. So I'm gonna share with you the differences of different classes of people. And I'm not trying to be classist, but basically poor, middle class, and rich, how they typically handle this. Okay, so the poor people, what they typically do is if they have a money tree, let's say it's their job, right? They get a paycheck. Typically what they do is they'll consume each and every one of these pieces of fruit. And so they have to make sure they have to grow another tree or get another paycheck. And when they do, they eat the fruit again. So they're constantly having to grow more and more trees. You know, a tree over here, another tree over here. They're constantly having to grow more and more trees. In each and every pay period, they eat all 10. Okay. That's what they do. Now, middle-class people, they typically don't eat all of it. They may eat, let's say 9 of them, and one of them, just say this one over here, this lucky guy, they put it away in this thing called a basket. Okay. And they put the fruit in there. Here's the fruit poking out the basket. Okay. And this is the handle. And that's the piece of fruit. They typically put it here. All right. So they're doing pretty good. So out of 9 pieces of fruit, 1 gets saved. So every paycheck, right? They do the same thing. They have 9, 1 goes away, to the point they'll have a little basket full of fruit. So they have a little nest egg, in other words, as you can see, for retirement or to buy a big house, right? Or they'll use it to buy a nice car, take a nice vacation, pay for their child's college. And so they save it, as you can see, but then they start spending it, as I shared. College fund. Oh, there's a piece of fruit that goes towards the house. Oh, there's another piece of fruit that gets subtracted because I went towards a new car. Oh, that went away. Those pieces of fruit went away because of vacation. Oh, those other pieces of fruit came away because it was unexpected expense. Emergency fund. More fruit is taken away. Oh no. And that's how they do it. Okay. That's middle class. But this is what you want to do to have abundance. Okay. Now, this is how you want to manage your money or your money tree. So that way you can get out the poverty mindset and the poverty spending habits and start incorporating the rich money management skill set as well as mindset. Okay. So let's say the rich too, let's say they started off with humble beginnings. Okay. And just like the poor person or the middle class person, they too got a 9 to 5. They too got a job. So they too are making the same amount of income as the poor person and the middle class. So as you can see, there was really no stark differences between the poor person and the middle class. The only difference was how they managed the money. They still got the same amount of pieces of fruit, which was 10. But the poor person ate all of it. A foolish man consumes all that he has. It says that in Proverbs. But the middle class person says, you know what? I'm gonna put an apple away for a rainy day or a piece of fruit away for a rainy day. So there's no difference in regard to how much income they receive, but just how they manage their money. I want to share that with you. So this is what the rich person does for abundance. So you might start off the same way. Let's say all across the board, the poor person, the middle class person, the rich person, all got the same money tree. Same size, same pieces of fruit. They receive the same amount of sunshine, right? Same amount of sunshine. They receive the same amount of rain and so forth. So no differences, no different advantages or anything. But this, I'm talking about the person who became self-made. Of course, it's a team involved. Not everyone's really self-made, but the person didn't inherit wealth. That's what I'm sharing. This is what they do. I know it was a long way doing that, but let's dive into it. Out of the 10 pieces of fruit, the rich person, just like the middle class person, they do the same thing. They put the fruit in the basket. And that's pretty much analogous to doing like dried fruit, meaning you're not going to consume it. You might dry it out. You know, I'm not sure you ever had that dried fruit like bananas, which are great, cranberries, apple slices. There's many different dried fruit. I think there's dried prunes or whatever, but you get my drift. They dry it up, they continue to stack every single pay period. Okay, but they do something else. So this basket is for savings. We're going to put an S. But they also get another basket, and we're going to put a building here. Okay, and let's say this is a place of worship. You know, whatever your faith is. Let's say this is a cross, but whatever your faith is or whatever, they take another piece of fruit and they donate it here because they understand that there may be families or other folks in need of that income or that apple or that piece of fruit. Or they may, it could be, your place of worship. It could be a loved one that they know is in need, right? So they either give to this person or give to this person. Basically, they have the intent to sow or give into the lives of others. So they're intentional about their giving. Sure, they're intentional about their savings. Every single month goes into the bank or the basket. And then they're intentional about every single month they donate it, charity, or give it to someone in need. It could be your loved one, it could be your place of worship, it could be an organization, but they're intentional. So you can see here, out of 10 apples, 2 of them they don't eat. 20% right here. And they use this for a rainy day. So a rainy day, let's say it's rain around this dollar sign. So you use money for a rainy day because they understand that the unexpected is always expected. And that's the key thing about poor people and how they manage their money. They typically think that, oh, I need to borrow money from you, whatever relationship is, cousin, sister, uncle, brother, friend, son, daughter, whatever relationship. I need to borrow money from you because this unexpected thing happened. I lost my job, or my car broke down, or I got into this accident, or I had this medical expense that came out of nowhere. The unexpected happens to us all. It's foolish to believe that the unexpected will never happen to you. So you want to make sure you have a emergency fund, just in case things like that happen. Okay, so I'm calling that the rainy day fund, your oops fund, just in case, oops, something happens. And then you want to be able to give another piece of fruit away or income away, 10%, towards place of worship and or other people in need. And the reason being is this. I talked a little bit about the mindset. The reason being is because when you give, you're in a constant state of expectation. So when I tithe, for instance, or give offerings or help a family member, friend, or just say a person who's homeless on the street, whoever, if I give a certain percentage away, and again, I'm intentional about that percentage, not just, oh, here's $1, here's 50 cents, here's a quarter, but no, I know how much money I have to sow into the lives of others by the end of this month. And if I'm intentional with that, I'm in a degree of high expectation to the point, if this person doesn't return the favor and give me, my return or whatever, that's perfectly fine, because I'm not expecting my expectation from this one individual person. Well, I am expecting the great universe, God, for instance, to be able to reimburse me and then some. Because similar to a seed, right, in a tree, if you sow, you don't expect that tree to just produce one seed back. You're expecting a whole multitude of seeds. Abundance, okay? So I realized when I give 10% of my income to those in need, it ends up coming back more in abundance. And that's what rich people do. Of course, people, poor people, for instance, may say, oh, they're trying to exploit people because they're paying them low wages, or they're trying to take advantage of people, or they're ripping people off. Typically, people who are wealthy, they're one of the most generous people out there. As I shared earlier, there's always exceptions to the rules, okay? But you don't know how that person actually spends their money. You can say, well, no, I know that person's a Scrooge, right? Like Scrooge McDuck. This person is a miser. They're extremely frugal. You don't know about their spending habits. You don't know that they might give a certain percentage of their money away. You don't know, right? So who are you to judge? Okay, but I am sharing with you in this video, these are some simple strategies and money management skills that you can implement on how you manage your money so that you can have abundance. Now, the third apple, you probably guessed it. They put it right here. They sow it into the ground. And let's say that's the an acorn. You might be saying, that don't make sense. These are apples, that's an acorn. You catch my drift. It's a seed, right? So they take the piece of fruit and they take the seeds out of it and they sow it. So as you're aware, let's say there's an apple. One apple might have, who knows, an additional 10 seeds in it. So you might have additional 10 acorns. You know, I'm not going to draw it out. I'll save you all the pain, but they have all these seeds in here. So that way it produces the chance in time to grow additional money trees. And this is where real estate comes in. So I realized when I worked in my 9-to-5, okay, I need to be able to live off of 70 cents of every dollar. So these 7 pieces of fruit, that's me taking a bite out of it. I can consume however I please, whether it goes to housing expenses, whether it goes towards car, transportation, fun, food. I can consume 7 of these apples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But these other 3, they have intent. This one is going towards savings. This one is for giving, for charity. That's supposed to be a cross. You know, whatever your place of worship, your faith. Even if you don't have a faith, at least just be intentional about your giving. These laws are universal, okay? And this last one goes into sowing the seed. All right, so I'm gonna put an I here for investing. So I will be intentional about, okay, I'm gonna live off 70% of every dollar I receive, but 10% saving, 10% tithe, and another 10% I'm going to invest. And so not only did I use creative financing, and if you're interested in learning more about creative financing, just check the link below in the description to learn more. But not only did I use creative financing, but I used savings to the point where I started to buy more money trees. In other words, properties, multi-unit properties, to be more specific. And then the passive income I received from these multi-unit properties, they produce more seeds, right? And these seeds grew and produced more trees, or more fruit, more cash flow. So you catch my drift here. And to the point, I've acquired over 72 rental units, and I had so many more apples and fruit that I no longer need to work. I no longer had to manually plant these seeds. I no longer had to clock in, clock out. I no longer had to ask the boss when I can take off or who I can work with. I no longer had someone telling me what to do, when to do, how to do it, and who to do it with. I no longer had that. I no longer had that requirement because I made sure I followed a simple principle. To the point with 72 rental units, I'm sure you can guess, that's an abundance of passive income. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how you can invest in your own money trees and multi-unit properties, especially with creative financing, then all you have to do, my friend, is check the link below to learn more. As always, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.